If you're worried about pelvic organ prolapse, maybe you were diagnosed with it or think you have it, it oftentimes comes with a lot of overwhelm, a lot of worry and concern about what it means for your body and also the future of your daily activities and movement. Well, you're not alone. So many women are suffering in silence. But with pelvic organ prolapse, you may not realize with the right approach, you can actually manage your symptoms for the better, improve them naturally, get a stronger, more supportive pelvic floor. You can prevent it from worsening and even feel more supported and confident in your body. Many women are told surgery is the only option, but with lifestyle approaches, the right types of exercises, and the things that I can talk you through with today can provide you a lot of peace of mind. That's why in this video, I'm going to share with you the 7 tips to helping your pelvic organ prolapse, what action steps you can take right now, and also to find out a little bit more about it so you can have the guidance to really take control of your body and move forward. My name is Dr. Dawn Andalone. I'm a pelvic floor specialist, and as a women's health physical therapist, pelvic organ prolapse is something a lot of women don't talk about or don't realize can be an issue down the road. Whether you had a baby recently or you're recovering from a surgery like a hysterectomy, or you've gained a lot of weight, or you're getting older and these new symptoms are coming up from perimenopause to menopause and beyond. There are different stages in your life where pelvic organ prolapse can happen and your symptoms may get worse by doing certain things, but that's what we're going to talk through today so you have more important information to help yourself. So pelvic organ prolapse can actually happen when the bladder, the uterus, or the rectum, it shifts downward and gives more support against that vaginal wall. You have weakening of this whole pelvic support, and therefore you start getting symptoms that feel like pressure or heaviness down there, even lower abdominal aching or pain, lower back pain, or even feeling or seeing a bulge through the vaginal or rectal area. Now, this can come with a lot of fear, but just know that it's not your organs falling out, I promise. You're feeling that vaginal wall has weakened and therefore it starts collapsing and you're getting the bulge down in that area and it's giving you those symptoms. But prolapse doesn't mean you have to stop moving or just hold off on making progress with any of your goals in exercise or in life. Not at all. There are things, if you're learning the right strategies and the tips I'm going to teach you today, you can make a better decision for your health and just feel like you understand it better and feel more empowered. Now, some women, not only because of the pressure or the heaviness down there, but they might notice difficulty with bowel movements or increased frequency of having the bladder urgency or even leaking. Any of those symptoms can come with pelvic organ prolapse. Knowing your triggers and what actually increases your symptoms is very important. So even keeping a log and writing down on a daily basis when you're feeling worse and when you're feeling better can really teach you a lot about what things are going to trigger it and make it worse. This is especially important if you see a pelvic floor physical therapist, which is an extremely helpful solution to help ease your symptoms of prolapse and even improve the prolapse. But they're going to teach you how to make these lifestyle changes and also paying attention to what things are happening in your body, what your activities levels are like, what your diet includes, and what your hydration level is like, and what your posture and how you're sitting through the day. A lot of those factors in your lifestyle can be adjusted or just modified a little bit to give you more relief. So number 1 is truly understanding your triggers and understanding your body better. And I would highly recommend just keeping a log of your symptoms over a 7-day period. And that way it can even teach you things before you even see a specialist. Sometimes things like prolonged standing. I've seen nurses or teachers, people that have to be standing a long period of time during the day. Their symptoms are definitely worse at the end of the day just because gravity and standing. Or if they're doing a lot of high intensive exercise like running or jumping, that can also make the symptoms worse. or maybe they've been lifting heavy. They have been just recently moved houses where they had to carry and transport heavy items, and maybe they weren't breathing properly or holding their muscles properly, or they've gained a lot of weight and have less control over that area and strength around their core and their pelvic floor, and therefore that can trigger the symptoms or even make a prolapse symptoms worse. Also, constipation is part of this too. When you're bearing down and having bowel movements, this also can trigger that extra pressure against the pelvic organs and the pelvic wall and make your symptoms worse. So staying in charge and in control of the constipation issue by looking at nutrition, hydration, and other factors that can improve the constipation can definitely make your symptoms better. Now, number 2 is your posture. If you do spend a lot of time sitting, maybe in the car or at a desk, and you are sitting back on your tailbone, not a good thing. You want to sit right over on top of your sits bones and your pelvis, really lining your spine up. So I'm going to teach you by showing you what I mean about proper sitting. So paying attention to and not sitting back on your tailbone like this. We want to be right over our sits bones. Looks like this. So as you can see, I am right over those butt bones, okay? I have a little space between my back and the chair, so I might want to put some pillows there or even a lumbar roll, something that is going to support my back. So when I am sitting, my ribs are stacked right over my hips. See this visual here? So I have my ribs right over my pelvis, and I'm not sitting back on my tailbone. I'm sitting just right over the midsection of my body, so my ribs are right over my hips, and I feel those butt bones in contact with the chair. So slouching or tucking your pelvis is definitely going to make a difference. Think of a more neutral spine and stacking those vertebrae up, thinking of that length in your spine when you are sitting. You also want to make sure that if you are lifting anything heavy, you're focusing on breathing properly. That means exhale when you lift. If you exhale when you lift, it manages the pressure so you don't have that extra pressure down on your pelvic organs and on your pelvic floor. You are able to actually lift more efficiently, and it's better for your back as well. So mastering proper posture and alignment is number 2. And then you're going to strengthen, but not over tense and tighten your pelvic floor. This can be very helpful to go back and watch any of my other videos where I talked through some simple breathing exercises. This is what can teach your pelvic floor muscles to relax and let go instead of holding a lot of unnecessary tension, which tends to happen with prolapse because we're trying to protect that area or we're scared or nervous about it. So if you find yourself through the day, just check in. Are you tucking your butt and squeezing those butt muscles? Are you tensing those muscles between your legs or even your abdominals and tightening and tensing when you're walking around? That can tell you that you probably have tense and shortened pelvic floor and core muscles, and instead want to work on lengthening, relaxing, and breathing exercises, which are going to help those muscles go back to their normal state so they can actually support your pelvic organs even better. So this is key where it comes to working with a pelvic floor physical therapist, or you can even book a call with me down below on how to work with me one-on-one, or even with some of my programs that I'll put down in the description below, so you can learn the proper way of how to actually use your core and your pelvic floor muscles the right way that's going to be optimal for you and your lifestyle and your goals. Now, working with a pelvic floor therapist can be very helpful because you'll learn a lot about your body, but you also don't want to think of just Kegel strengthening exercises all the time. This is often prescribed by doctors, or we read online that we're supposed to tighten and strengthen and do our Kegel exercises all day long, but oftentimes this can make your symptoms worse, or you are already dealing with tense and shortened muscles, and those shortened muscles don't need to have extra tension by tightening them all the time. You need to work on maybe your upper core muscles, your breathing, your back muscles, and your hips, and how they all work together, not just your pelvic floor. So number 3 again is strengthen, but don't over tighten your pelvic floor. Now number 4 is avoid high pressure exercises. What do I mean by that? Well, exercises that are going to put a lot of stress and tension and add more pressure against your abdominal wall or even your pelvic floor area is not going to be optimal. Unless you learn strategies that are going to be efficient with your breathing, that would be helpful in order to go back into those kinds of exercises. What do I mean by this? I'm talking about doing a lot of crunches, especially weighted crunches, regular crunches, a lot of heavy lifting with using your breath holding and not being able to use your breath to help you lift the weights. We see this a lot in women that deadlift a lot or squat a lot. Going down into super deep squats can also exacerbate your symptoms, or even high impact workouts like a lot of running or jumping. These can be something you do down the line if you're working with a professional that knows how to teach you the right strategies so you don't exacerbate your symptoms and make it worse. Now, it's important to know if you are doing a lot of these things and you've noticed your symptoms have increased, dial it back. Stick with things that are going to be a little bit lower intensity. You can still lift weights, but making sure you're exhaling when you're lifting, and you're also paying attention to pelvic floor and core type exercises, Pilates-based exercises that are gentle, but will teach your brain how to activate those deeper muscles more efficiently too, so you can go back into running and jumping and more high intensity workouts later on. It's also helpful to do swimming or walking, other things that are not going to put as much pressure, and you'll be able to get the exercise without that downward pressure. Even cycling is another good option too. So number 5 is managing constipation and gut issues. Now, if you're someone that has been dealing with constipation, or you tend to sit on the toilet for a long period of time, not good for your pelvic floor. You also might want to consider not only looking at your nutrition and your hydration, other things that can help that, but if you are bearing down and sitting on the toilet for long periods of time, it can put a lot of pressure on your pelvic floor. So trying something called a squatty potty, I'll put my link below. This can also be helpful because it allows that pelvis to open up without bearing down and putting as much pressure. And you also want to think of breathing through your bowel movements, and so you're not holding your breath and tensing and bearing down too hard that you are going to strain that area down by your pelvic floor. So tip number 6 is supporting your pelvic floor with breathing and core engagement. What do I mean by that? Well, like I mentioned before, the diaphragmatic breathing is very important, and learning how to breathe is the number 1 best way to help ease prolapse symptoms, because it's going to allow your pelvic floor muscles learn what they need to do naturally, and also working on the entire core system, which includes your diaphragm with your breathing and your deep abdominal muscles, your back muscles, and your pelvic floor all together. So doing restorative type Pilates-based mat exercises with breathing can be very effective and improve your symptoms over the long haul. So when lifting, sneezing, or coughing, I know it can be sometimes hard if this is a natural reaction, what happens, but if you try to brace your core first and pull in from those muscles through your navel and through your pelvic floor before you sneeze, before you cough, before you lift, that can also protect your pelvic organs and prevent your symptoms from getting worse. I have seen women before where after they were sick for a while, maybe had bronchitis or the flu, and they were coughing a lot uncontrollably, their bladder leakage got worse, maybe their prolapse symptoms even got worse. So this is very common. So if you think about pulling in those muscles first before you do anything forceful, that is also going to help your symptoms. And last but not least, tip number 7 is consider any external support. This is called a pessary device. You may want to talk to your doctor about this or a pelvic floor physical therapist, but you can be fitted for a device, especially if you want to hike, walk, run, jump, do anything more active and you're getting symptoms. Not only doing the exercises to help support that area, but you can also insert a device through the vaginal opening, and this can support your pelvic organs and provide relief from your symptoms. So the combination of not only talking to your doctor about hormone support, pessaries, pelvic floor therapy, all those things together, external support, and doing more of the holistic things to help with your prolapse symptoms is going to give you the best results, especially if you're trying to avoid any kind of risky surgery. So in this video below, I'll put some of those links on helpful tips to help you navigate this world of having a prolapse or thinking you have these symptoms and you're looking up online what to do. Well, I can tell you that no matter what, if you are doing the right types of exercises, you can get through this, you can ease your symptoms. Your symptoms can get a lot better. You can get a lot of relief with the right approach and not needing surgery in the long run. And if you are recommended to get surgery, definitely check in with a pelvic floor physical therapist first, book a call with me, or go see more than one doctor. You want to see at least 2 doctors. So therefore, if you're recommended for surgery, you don't just jump into it, but you have done the work, you've done the pelvic floor therapy, you've done the exercises and support and lifestyle changes. I've mentioned the 7 of them in this video. But not only that, you're getting more than one opinion because different doctors are going to have different approaches and different opinions on how severe your prolapse is and what the next step should be for you. So this video was to help you take control of your health, learn more about pelvic organ prolapse and the holistic solutions that can help you. I hope you found this helpful. Comment below if you have tried any of these and you're finding relief with it, or if it's not working for you yet and you're exploring other options. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon in another video.